Welcome back to Dr. Tajuddin channel. Today, I will be discussing the novel written by George Orwell, known as 1984. And in my previous episode, I discussed about the China Black Mirror and trying to let the audience know where China got this inspiration from. This particular novel, 1984, was written by George Orwell in 1949. And what is this novel all about? This novel is simply about totalitarianism. The totalitarianism government control every aspect of your life, such as who you associate with, what you say, they listen to what you do in your private time. This type of government control what you think, what you believe, or what you stand for. Orwell got his inspiration from German and Russian during that time, looking at the way the German and Russian system of governance. He saw this system as a totalitarianism, and he imagined what a free country like London will look like under the totalitarian regime. The setting of this novel, 1984, took place in London, and Orwell described London as a dystopian society where the masses live in abject poverty, they look haggard due to insufficient food, they dress shabbily, and they live in a state of melancholy. Orwell also described a gigantic pyramid government building that rises above the landscape of the dilapidated building of a citizen. Looking at this, Owen is trying to show you how the environment look like, and the only thing that look nice in that environment is only the big government pyramid building, while the rest of the building were dilapidated. Orwell also described that in that environment, there were some posters you will see all over the city with the caption of Big Brother is watching, meaning the government of that time sees, watch, and listens to everything you do as a citizen. He also described the thought police. And what is the function of this thought police? The function of the thought police, they work for the government and they are considered as a government agent who have access to a hidden camera and a microphone. They have it all over, everywhere in the town, and they can listen to every conversation. And also, the government can watch you through telescreen. This telescreen in this novel is known as television in this modern day. You are not allowed to turn off your telescreen, meaning your television must be on all the time so that the government can watch you, see what you are doing all the time, forever and ever. Owen explained that there's a lot of things you are not allowed to do in this dystopian society. And if you do them, you will be taken to a forced labor camp. And this forced labor camp is where they discipline you, is where they unleash the demons on you. They make you go through pains and agony in this labor camp. And you don't want to be there because the condition is deplorable. Owen further explained it is forbidden for someone to have a close friend, date, or be in love, or have intimacy with someone you love, meaning no sex. However, in this dystopian society, There are some things that the government wants you to do. The government require you of saving all your emotion for the party, meaning you should be, meaning your emotion should be saved for the government, and you are required to watch the government propaganda machine on your telescreen. I mean some government programs, such as government news, such as exercise. They will tell you what to do, what kind of exercises you have to do. And at the same time, you also have to listen. You are also required to attend 2 minutes of 8 pep rally, which will help the government to fill you with shenanigans, fill your head with shenanigans or propaganda or brainwash you. And this makes it so difficult for you to have your own thoughts. Owen used Winston Smith as the main character in this novel. Winston Smith is a 39 years old and he works for the government. According to Owen, Winston has no friend or someone close to him, and he lives in a deplorable existence. At the beginning of the novel, Winston begins to write a diary on how much he hates his society, knowing for sure that it is forbidden for someone to write a diary. And if the government find out or one is caught, one can be killed, even get caught. Looking at the diary from the Winston perspective, diary is like a safe haven for Winston, where he can express himself, express his thoughts, and hoping the world can be a better place, and hoping his current situation might change. So the novel take a turn when Winston described as two people close to his mind. One is a young, pretty, attractive young lady known as Julia. Julia worked for the same government Winston worked for, and Julia is like a mechanic. But Winston hated Julia so much. Why? Because Winston assumed Julia might be a third police and she might betray him. And if he tries to get close to Julia, Julia might turn him down, might turn him in for the government, and they might deal with him. So there's another guy called O'Brien. O'Brien worked for the government, but is among the inner circle, meaning he has the power. So one day, Winston was passing by on the hallway and bumped into Julia, and Julia do as if she fell down. Instantly, Winston reacts to come to her rescue, and Julia gave Winston a note with, in the note read, "I love you." And when Winston saw this note, he was very happy because he's already fascinated with Julia. So as time goes on, Winston and Julia try to find a place to meet and get away from the government surveillances. So Julia directed Winston on how to escape from the camera, from the microphone, and the hidden other gadgets, they can other tracking device. So they agree. Winston took a train from one city to the other city, and they met at a garden, like a bush. So they met at this garden and they make love over there. And Winston asked Julia, "How long have you been doing this?" And Julia said, "I've been doing this with different kind of men." So if you look at it from one angle, Julia is being rebellious against the government, trying to have sex. And you should know that you cannot have sex. And Winston on the other side wants to revolt against the government, wants to overturn the government. So moving forward, one day, Winston respect O'Brien so much and he see him as a colossus. So one day O'Brien invited Winston to his place. And in this novel, and according to that society, you are not allowed to come to anybody's house. So Misty misconstrued O'Brien gesture when O'Brien invited him over. So one day, Winston and Julia went to O'Brien's house. And while they are having wines, Winston was telling O'Brien his mission, what he intends to do, how he intends to go rebel against the government and overthrow the government. And O'Brien said, don't worry, I have a book for you. Here is the book you go and read on how to overthrow the government. And Winston took that book and was very happy. And in this novel, Owen show another scenario where Winston and Julia, aside from meeting outside the town, Winston also rented a dilapidated building like a church, like an apartment. And on the wall, there was a camera behind the frame. There was a frame on the wall, and behind that frame was a camera monitoring what people were doing. Unknowing to Winston and unknowing to Julia that they were being monitored. So Julia told Winston that I need to come and clean this place. I need to clean it well. And Winston did not really buy and say, you don't need to do it now, don't worry. So when O'Brien gave Winston the book, Winston took the book and Julia tried to put on a nice dress, biscuit that is meant for the elites of that society. And she was looking dazzling, being in a feminine state of mind. Winston was flabbergasted, looking at the way Julia was dazzling in her dress and looking more feminine. After they consummated, they have intimacy, Winston was reading the manifesto given to him by O'Brien on how to overthrow the government while Julia was sleeping. And if you look at it, this character, Winston thought Julia had the same agenda to overthrow the government, not knowing that Julia's intention is just to have fun for his own selfish reason. He's not down to overthrow any government, just want to have fun and enjoy himself. So the thought police busted the door open and they arrested Winston and Julia and they took them to a ministry of love. A ministry of love is a place where you'll be tortured for going against the government. And Winston looked up and saw O'Brien standing and he said, O'Brien, you also get caught. And O'Brien said, I've been got caught a long time. So as time goes on, Winston described how he met a man in the prison and how the man explains to him that he was betrayed by his own son, by his own children. His own children turns to a third police, turn him into a third police. So you see how the government is breaking the family structure. So they make your children become your enemy. You can't have your own independent thinking. And if you don't think what the government think, you are considered the enemy. So they now took Winston, they beat Winston, they inflict pain on him, they demoralize him, they damage him, they torture him to give him all the information, and he did. And after that, they now took Winston to room 101, where they will finally break you mentally. And there, O'Brien showed up. Now he was glaring and clear to Winston that O'Brien was also part of the elite. He wasn't having Winston interest at mind. He was working for them. So and O'Brien let Winston understand that the government, when we say 2 plus 2, you can't say 4, you have to say 5. So they put rat, they know Winston has a phobia for rats. So they put rats in a cage and put it on Winston's eyes and tell him that this rat, if you open it, it will eat up your eyes. And Winston yelled, do it to Julia. And looking at this scenario, that means Winston just betrayed the most important thing he valued, love for Julia. He betrayed his love for Julia. And after O'Brien asked Winston several times, 2 plus 2 is what? He said 5. Then when he later said 5, then they released him and said government did not have any interest with you. They just want to have a total control over you. And at the end of the novel, they show where Winston was sitting down, watching telescreen and drinking a coffee, and Julia was also passing by, but the two of them met, but they can't have any intimacy or any kind of relationship again. So they were there. So the government has already break them. And if you look at this novel, in the last episode, I discussed about the Chinese Black Mirror. So all the things you see in this movie is what the Chinese are now implementing in their country, over 600 million camera, where they give you a social credit score. 785 is good. If you do something right, your score will be up, and if you go against the government, you'll be named as an enemy. And if you have any other religious belief that contradict to China, you'll be posted to re-education camp where they will torture you. So all this information are there for you. And one Nigerian author, Cyprian Ekwesi, said fiction become reality, reality become fiction. So look at this novel was written in 1949 and predicting what is going on in the future. So China is doing their own in a very totalitarian way, while American and the rest, the Canada and the Australia and the Sweden, they've been giving people microchips. They call it digital age. They are doing it in a very democratic way. So you see what is going on. My job is not to come and instill fear. I will come with the fact. I'm a scholar. I come with the facts. So do your own research. Look at how these novels intertwine with the 5G, with the coronavirus digital identification. And in my next episode, I will discuss about the new novel Fahrenheit 5451, Fahrenheit 451, written by Bradley in 1953. So see you next time, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.